Hello and welcome to 20 Lore Pro. Thank you so much for joining us here today as we watch the Hunter Burton Memorial Lorcana Championship. This was the second annual event, the 11th year for the Hunter Burton Memorial itself, and we are so thankful that 20 Lore Pro was invited back for this year's tournament. This year we had over 70 competitors compete in the Lorcana tournament, along with many side events and freebies that were raffled and given out all throughout the day. We want to thank our Enchanted Level sponsors Cloud Collectibles, Random Encounter Games, The Card Haven, Pixelborn, Mothership Books and Games, and Pixel Haven. Thanks to them and many within the community, we were able to raise over $7,500 to support 988, the U.S. National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. If you or a loved one are experiencing suicidal ideation or are going through a mental health crisis, reach out to 988. There's support available 24/7, and there are professionals who want to help you find the right resources that you need. Again, this is 20 Lore Pro, and I'm Sir Ashtown, and thank you so much for joining us. We also want to thank Miguel over at Diamond Ink Apparel for doing the beautiful artwork on the Lorcana Championship playmats that you see before you on the tournament screen. If you want to get yours non-serialized, you can head on over to 20lore.pro to our merch section. Also, there will be a link in the description to get yours today. We want to thank GFQ for printing those playmats and for being a long-time partner alongside 20 Lore Pro. Thank you, GFQ Underground, for printing those mats. And here we are going on to the next round.
Hello and welcome to 20 Lore Pro. I'm Sir Ashtown, and joining with me today is Liam from the Illuminateers. How are you doing, Liam?
I am doing very well. I'm very excited to be here. I love this event, and I'm honored to be back for a second year. Thanks for having me.
I'm really excited to be here. We have had a plethora of players join. We went from 30 players to 40, and I believe we went all the way up to 68 players. So now this is a 7-round tournament. We're going to have more rounds for y'all tomorrow, along with the top 8. So you're just getting a small taste of what we're doing here today at the Hunter Burton Memorial Lorcana Championship. We are going on into round 3. We are here at the Hunter Burton Memorial, and we are so excited to be raising awareness in the gaming community of 988. If you or a loved one are going through a mental health crisis or having suicidal ideation, head on over to 988. There's help available 24/7.
Back over to the other side, getting a glimpse of cards there. I see friends from the other side in hand. We also have Fire the Cannons, a card from set 1 that pops up occasionally in the meta. I've seen it a few times today. We're going to hard play Friends. That's 3 ink instead of singing it. Draw 2 cards, and we'll likely see a quest here with both. It's another 3 lore, which will take Asher a couple closer to victory. Smee, of course, will take a damage, there being no captain on board. Smee takes a damage at the end of the turn if that's not present. Back over to Logan to see how to responds here. I will say not the ideal start. If this is the item variant, which I think it is, not the ideal start for this deck. You'd like to see a turn 1 popsicle, perhaps even into a bell, and then followed by perhaps an Oswald if we were running those, which we know Logan is. Tipo, you have a turn 2 play, not terrible. It gets you a little more ink on the board, but Oswald allows you to really get that combo you're looking for off, trying to find items off the top of your deck. It's a card I'd love to talk about if it comes into play later. All right, we do see the 6-cost Tamatoa in hand 2. There's a Flavisham eating that popsicle that was hiding over on the side there. I must have. Sorry, I missed that popsicle there. All right, so the popsicle was on the board. Flavisham eating it in short order, drawing 2 cards. Propelling Logan into the mid-game here with those extra cards. Back over to Amethyst Steel.
And back over from helping fix the delay. Glad to be back and talking with y'all.
Okay, Rabbit into the mid-game here. Questing game to the Smee up to 6.
Here in set 7, really last.
Yep, Smee should have another damage counter on him there. The Rabbit is not a captain, so Smee should be taking damage at the end of every turn there, I will note. There we have the Oswald on board. Oswald's a card every time an ink is or a card is inked, you look at the top card of your deck. If it's an item, you get to put it into play. Otherwise, you put it on the bottom of your deck. So these decks, these versions of these decks are running a lot of items, 20 at the most, usually between 18 and 20. So about a third of the cards in your deck are items, giving you plenty of synergy for the Oswald, plenty of targets to hit. One note, just a fun thing at the SSG tournament, a lot of people were watching Zan on future matches and counting the number of times Oswald missed, because Oswald's a card that Zan worked into that deck, which hadn't seen a ton of play. This is not a set 7 card, this is set 6 card. It's been around for many, many months and didn't see a lot of play. And the one thing that Zan pointed out was that even when he misses, it is giving him information. Because that card doesn't go back to the top of your deck for you to draw next turn, it goes to the bottom of your deck. So even when you're missing and sending those cards down, you know more about what's in your deck, what you're likely to draw, and you can change the odds of what card you're going to draw in your head. So even when you miss with Oswald, when he sits there and you're cycling through and not getting a lot of hits, it is doing something for you, which is something to note. But there's that Fire the Cannons, possibly in this deck for Oswald, also first turn Cinderellas and things like that, but definitely helpful against these Oswalds. Singing Friends, the Rabbit will sing Friends, draw another 2 cards, and into Diablo, into the Robin Hood, going wide here.
And Amethyst Steel here, I mean, talk about wanting to have more characters on the board so you can challenge down. You're able to have challengers that are strong but also have the ability to quest for quite a bit. Amethyst is able to do that right here, as we see Asher able to widen his board. Maybe that Robin Hood could transform into the Champion of Sherwood, or we could see other cards really that can come up like challengers like Calhoun, that anything that Logan leaves, like even this Flavor Stamp tapped, could be challenged.
That's true. The thing about Amethyst in the game right now is it has such a strong core. And by that I mean there's like 10 or 12 cards which are played in almost every Amethyst build, whether it's Blurple or Emerald Amethyst or Amethyst Steel. There's some that worked in or out, like Friends is a card which is not run in every build. It's run in quite a few of them, but this core is really, really solid. And so when you're building these Amethyst decks, usually most of the cards are picked for you, because you have cards like Rabbit, Fox, even Diablo nowadays for the 1-drop. So the question is, what do you pair with it? And Steel is the card of damage-based removal. You have plenty of options, like Along Came Zeus there, being sung by the Rabbit to take down that 6-cost crab. And so these two colors are bringing you the perfect combination of card draw and then some instant lore with things like Goat, as well as the damage-based removal of Steel. And Steel brings the added benefit, as you pointed out, of some really strong early game cards like Smee, and then mid-game cards like Robin Hood, Champion of Sherwood, which can ship, Beast Tragic Hero, another card that can come out. So it has it all in a mid-range package. And when it can go wide like this, that's what it really wants to do against these control item decks, is go wide as soon as it can.
And it really helps when you have cards like Elsa, just like you were saying, Liam. It's able to tap down those characters that aren't tapped down yet, leaving your other ones able to challenge. So if he has a character that is troublesome on the board, you're able to use Elsa to tap it down and get rid of it. And Asher's doing a good job right now of maintaining board control, but as we've seen, these Sapphire Steel lists with their items, they can come back very quickly, especially with the more ink they have available to play.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the thing about these Sapphire decks, is you build up a lot of ink quickly with some of the ramp cards, and there's some very strong end game, but also there's some combinations which you can hit, cards that can give you other cards for free, which allow you to, in a single turn, do like double your ink totals worth of things, like Oswald, for example, hitting the Lucky Dime, or getting those 4 items in play and then playing a Scrooge McDuck, allowing you to find another item. It can escalate very, very quickly. And here we have a couple pieces of this endgame engine that this deck is really trying to build. You have the Tamatoa and the Flaversham on board. You also have the Lucky Dime in hand. So Tamatoa, as we've seen for the last few sets, when it gets going, starts pulling cards like Popsicle back. You get the card off the Popsicle, Flaversham eats it, you get 2 cards. And then when you can drop the Lucky Dime, you start to ramp into this really, really powerful high lore endgame engine. And that's really one of the things this deck is trying to do. Unfortunately for Logan, Asher is really the beatdown at this point, has been pushing the lore total, and so definitely have to think about responding to this board, as we do here with an Along Came Zeus.
That is a nice copy of Along Came Zeus at that.
It is. Leonardo G. Michel, I believe, with that art. Beautiful enchanted art there. Now, the question is here, what are we going to hit? There's some good options. Smee is obviously the highest lore total on the board, but Elsa is well, Elsa has 1 lore. You also have the rabbit, which can be bounced and brought back again. You know, giving your opponent a card when it's removed feels bad, but also, you know, you'd rather give them that 1 card than have it bounce back and give them multiple cards. But I think, you know, I think the debate is here: do I go for the lore? Do I go for the rabbit? And the choice is the rabbit, giving Asher 1 card there. I will note again that Smee should be accumulating damage every time it's exerted. We did see the one at the end of the last turn there. I'm not sure if we got it all, but there are no captains in play that I can see. So, oh, here's a fun card though.
Gosh, yeah, talk about a great Amethyst card in the form of this bell. We've seen it played, especially during the last season when genies were running rampant, but gosh, this bell able to move some damage over.
Yeah, we did have the damage slid over there. We had a challenge by the Smee, giving it another damage there. If we did miss any of those damage counters, that comes into play here. Again, I'd have to go back and watch, but Smee now sitting with 2 damage after challenging the Flavisham. Definitely want to get that off the board. That is part of that engine, which is going to keep that going.
I think Logan just pointed out to him too that was a fact, and I saw Logan earlier indicating some damage that, at least within the match, that may have been missed.
Yeah, I think that is the case. It did have a damage earlier. I'm not positive that's what happened here, folks, but that may have been what that point was yeah, removing that because of the earlier damage. So Smee, definitely a card you gotta keep an eye on. He does.
It's true.
He does damage himself every turn.
And that's something else about a tournament just like this. We're here to have fun. We're here to raise awareness, and so there are so many families here, kids, new players to the format.
Oh yeah,
the first time playing in their first tournament for Hunter Burton Memorial. So we have experienced players like Logan who have gone to the national continentals, and we've had others who are brand new. So that's kind of what we're seeing here on this feature match right here.
Absolutely, that's a great point. The field out there it's so fun. Brand new players, young players, experienced players. You have world qualifiers sitting across from you know, very, very young Lorcana players. So it's just a wonderful event and a wonderful field, and I appreciate the mentality that everybody brings to it. You have a couple more items coming out here, though. There's the Lucky Dime. Finally got slammed over there. I see a popsicle, and I think there's another item underneath that Lucky Dime as well. So that's at least 3. That Tamatoa now representing 4 lore, able to quest for that. I don't think we have enough left to activate the dime this turn. So next turn, of course, we can double up the lore on that Tamatoa with the Lucky Dime.
Yeah, we're coming here to a really tight game. Asher being at 11, but Logan going to have the ability to catch up pretty quickly, be able to quest with the Tamatoa, and then use that Lucky Dime to gain however much he had after getting another item back.
Let's see, so that's, I think, quest there. So that's 4 lore gained up to 6. Next turn, that'll be 4 and 4, so that'll be 14. So with 2... a couple. It's still gonna be a stretch. It's still gonna be a stretch to close it out in 1 turn, but possible with enough items. Calhoun being played here. Great early game card. Not as impactful here. Although if we get to a point where we're a couple lore away from winning, that's something you do have to think about. Because Asher here questing up to 15, now 5 lore away from the game. That Calhoun, again, it's usually used for early game to prevent aggression, to take out cheaper characters with its resist mechanic, but it does give you 2 lore and advantage as a character. So even though it represents 1 lore on the board because of the lore it has on hand, if it slams into that Tamatoa and finishes it off, that's 2 lore. But now Genie coming down, one of the scourges of the meta last time around, draws you a card when it enters play, has 2 lore and evasive, so a card that Asher could definitely use to close out this game, but quite a bit of lore being represented now. So Logan, I think, trying to calculate if he can win the game on this next turn. It is possible if we have the right number of items.
I think that's really important to note too on that Calhoun, that sometimes Amethyst Steel lists get into these board states where they need that last bit of lore, but there is a challenging character on their opponent's side that they could possibly win with. So using an Elsa, tapping it down, and then challenging it with everything and letting that Calhoun hit last, as long as it's the last character to hit it when it's banished, you'll be able to gain that lore.
Absolutely. I'm trying to. So I'm
How many
talking-
items he's got?
Well, yeah, I'm leaning
I'm
over
looking too.
as if I can angle on his hand here, because there's definitely plays here. I think that's a quill. There might even be another dime there. I wish I could see.
There's a fishbone
Here,
quill.
but there's the quill into the inkwell. Okay, interesting. Okay, so Pete, we'll just note, is going to come down here, prevent any actions from being played. But that is the queen. This is a card from Ursula's Return 4 sets ago. It's a legendary. When it exerts, you can look at the top 4 cards of your deck and find an item and put that card in your. So it's a way to search for items. Now it doesn't do a lot here, unfortunately. Yeah, because you have to exert it, so you can't use it right away. It's a fantastic card in this deck, particularly for the mirror. It's a card that I know several other players have started to work into their list. It's a card that not a lot of people used for a while, but we do see the players scooping here. But it's worth talking about the queen. So the queen. Sorry, I get excited when I
No, this
see
is
new stuff.
exciting. Yeah.
The queen's another card that's been around for a while as we get ready for the next match here. And in the initial version of this deck that was revealed a couple weeks ago in the SSG tournament that we keep talking about and people playing, the queen was not a card that featured very heavily, or at all, actually. And in terms of value, it's been sitting down there, not worth it. I think it was $3 a few days ago, legendary from a few sets ago, but didn't see a lot of play. But what happens when you have these tier 0 or these overpowering decks in the meta is you either play it or you build your deck to play against it, and if you're playing it, you try to work in things to beat the mirror. So for example, in North American Continentals, and then actually in the European Continentals as well, we saw McDuck Manors work their way into cards like the Ruby Sapphire decks in order to really beat the mirror. And then, sets ago when Ruby Amethyst was the dominant deck, I saw people work spellbooks in because they were good against the mirror. This queen fits that mold. It's a card that is a little slow because it doesn't have an interplay ability, but if you hit it a couple times and can cheat some items into play and give you some momentum, in the mirror, it is really, really good. And so it's a card that I was at first I was like, oh, a couple players. I was like, oh, you're playing queen. I was surprised a little bit, and then when you think about it for a second, it makes complete sense because it's a mirror tech card. Didn't do anything in that game, but that's why I think you see it worked into these decks. Sorry, that was a mouthful, but
no,
I'm excited about it.
I think exactly what you said, the analysis you gave was exactly on point. This card really represents, especially in these types of lists, some great item ability to search for what you need, especially if you need, in that exact board state, more items on the board. But we're really excited to be here for the Hunter Burton Memorial. We're here in round 3. This is the last round in today's tournament, but we will be back tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. We will have 2 rounds of Swiss in addition to the top 8. So don't go away. We still have more action today, especially tomorrow. Again, we want to thank some of our Enchanted level sponsors. We have that beautiful playmat for y'all to see on that screen. That was made by Diamond Ink Apparel, the artwork, and printed by GFQ Underground. They did such an amazing job on this playmat, which really brings to life the Rapunzel scene of the lanterns. As we're looking here, you can see each of the Enchanted level sponsors on the playmat for you to see there. On Logan's side of the field, we see Random Encounter Games, Cloud Collectibles, and Pixel Haven. We want to thank them so much for donating to today's tournament. Without them, this event would not be possible. Here we are going off with a turn 1 from Asher in the form of Robin Hood.
Oh, there's that Oswald on the other side. The play draw in this matchup when you have these steel matchups here is really impactful because the player who goes first has the opportunity to respond with the damage-based removal that steel runs on their opponent's side. So make a huge difference here. Here we're ink. We're looking at the top card. It is not. I think that was a Tamatoa that I saw really quickly. It's going to go to the bottom. We're going to pick that card up there, slide that underneath. There it is. So unfortunately, Oswald missing here. But yeah, no answer for the Oswald on Asher's side of the board. Instead, choosing to play the Smee, going the aggressive route again. Yeah, so we'll see. I think as we saw last game, the key for Asher over there is to establish, get decent lore early with some high lore questers, and then try to go wide at some point, because there really is no answer in this item control deck for a wide board. Alternatively, you can try to take a shift route here, shift into the Robin Hood or another high mid-game character. But the problem, those things are vulnerable to things like Along Came Zeus and that kind of stuff. So I don't know. I think the key for Asher here, get high lore questers on the board, then try to go wide, as we saw in the first game. Logan is just going to try to play his game plan. The game plan generally for these item decks is to counter aggression by having either a bell on the board on turn 1, or a damage-based removal like Let the Storm Rage On or Strength of Raging Fire on turn 2 or 3, depending on if you have the bell. Without the bell, it's you're a little bit on your back foot. So here in this matchup, we didn't see the bell on turn 1. We did see the Oswald, which is a little slower than ramping, but it does allow for big plays if you can hit items off the top of your deck. And now we have the Queen, which again, not the ideal card in this particular matchup. It does allow you to search for some items, but what it also does is establish a 3-cost Singer for some of your damage-based removal, which will be important. So that's one of the roles that the Queen is going to fill here.
This is an interesting move here from Logan. I wonder, just giving recognition for that shift Robin Hood, but chose to challenge in with his Oswald into the Robin Hood.
Actually, it's a really great point. Usually you'd like to have that stick around rather than challenging that Robin Hood, but yeah, respecting that shift line. And what's really funny, if you notice, Asher then promptly inked the Champion of Sherwood.
Oh, I missed that, did he?
Yes, after the Robin Hood was removed. So that line available, as soon as Robin Hood was removed, that card went right into the inkwell. Here, though, another new card from this set. This is a card obviously only usable in Amethyst Steel. This is a Giant Cobra. Giant Cobra, I think it's called. This card gives you 2 lore when you play it if you discard another card. So it's a card which gives you a little reach, kind of like Goat in the Amethyst colors, or in the Amethyst. Does require you to discard a card, but it gives you that little extra lore, and I think we saw the Fox go into the inkwell there in order to activate that ability. So another couple lore there, getting us just a little closer to victory. Here, Logan, though, is going to activate, look at the top 4 cards, try to find an item. We did find one, that's Maurice's Workshop. It's a 3-cost uninkable, and when it's in play, you can pay 1 ink whenever you play another item to draw a card. So in an item-heavy deck like this, it's a way to get extra cards, especially when you're hitting cheap cards like Popsicle, etc. So that card comes into play for free thanks to the Queen. We are gonna have to respond to Asher's early aggression here, but getting this item synergy going and cheating these cards into play will definitely help you do it.
Now, like this big Cobra, it not only fits, I think, the Amethyst Steel color palette very well, but that 3-drop 4/4, that is a strong challenger. I mean, that's a great buy to have on a character.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's a big body. It's for a cheap cost. The thing about it is they worked in what's supposed to be a drawback, this vanishing ability, because it is in theory in the gameplay lore, it's an illusion. So as soon as you target it with something, and like I'm gonna hit that Cobra with the cannons or a mosquito bite or something, it immediately goes away and is returned to your opponent's hand because it's gone.
Even been seeing some players do that, play cards like that, just because of these new illusions.
Yeah, there we go. And it's instead of challenging or doing anything else, you're just going to sing Friends from Either Side, get another couple cards there. 3 costs, so it can sing those 3-cost songs. But yeah, Vanish is supposed to be a drawback, and really though, there's I don't know. There are some cards people are running which allow you to remove the illusions a little bit cheaper. Cards like Fire the Cannons, but there's not a ton. So it's not as big of a drawback, I feel like, as you'd want it to be if you're a game designer, because most of the actions that a lot of these decks are running would just banish it anyway. There's a few weird ones that are out there, but nobody's really, I think, playing around these illusions just yet.
I like Asher's line here of choosing to sing first with the Cobra. Lets him have more cards in hand, so he has more information. Uses that Mr. Smee to trade together to get rid of the Queen. Now he's got a 4/4 still on board, able to challenge in to that Flavor Sham if it quest, which it probably will, and then a goat to follow up just in case, gaining lore, another great card that can sing cards like Along Came Zeus if needed.
Yeah, great point. Always get the information first. Yeah, the queen being removed here, especially important. I think Asher wants to be using that SME to gain lore and try to get, within striking distance of victory, because I think inevitability here is with the Sapphire Steel deck. But there's a really interesting combo set up with the queen there, where as you look at the top 4 cards of your deck, if you manage to find Popsicle or another 3-cost card that comes in for free, you can play 1 ink with Maurice's Workshop to draw a card. So it gets this synergy, this system going. And then if you have Flavisham in play, imagine a scenario where the queen finds a Popsicle, you play the Popsicle for free, you pay 1 ink, draw with Maurice's Workshop, then you quest with Flavisham, you eat the Popsicle, you draw a card. It's a vicious engine. So getting that queen off the board there, super important.
And that is a powerful engine. I haven't seen it happen too often, but you're right, Liam. That would be it'd spell disaster if you're their opponent.
Yeah, here we do have the rabbit coming in play. Again, it'll get you another card. Asher's got quite a few cards in hand already. So I think you'd like to be pushing the lore total a little bit, but for sure establishing a rabbit in the mid-game in an Amethyst deck is never terrible. But it does give a little bit of breathing room to Logan over there, able to now, even though there's some damage on that Flavisham, able to use it again this turn if we can establish another item, or eat the Workshop, I suppose. Although I think you'd rather have that in play. I think I do see a Shield of Arendelle over there, unless I'm mistaken, which is a 1-cost item we could play to get things moving. Let's see which way we go here. Shield of Arendelle, another card, kind of like Oswald, which has been around since set 5. Not played a whole ton, but it was worked in. A single copy was worked in to this item list that was made popular in SSG. The biggest reason is, I mean, as a perk, you get another 1-cost item to work with this item synergy package these engines are running. But that resist 1 actually comes in handy in a few very specific scenarios. The big one is with the 6-cost Tamatoa having 5 willpower, makes it susceptible to Along Came Zeus. And you really, you love getting to play it and getting those items back. You really love getting to quest with it, so you want it to stick around a whole turn. And up against Steel Song or the Mirror or other people running Along Came Zeus, that Shield of Arendelle allows you to protect your crab for a whole turn, making it not susceptible to that Zeus, keep it on the board, and then your crab can quest next turn. And the icing on the cake is, even though you're only running like 1, maybe 2 copies of the Shield of Arendelle, you get to a point where you're starting to cycle it with Tamatoas. So both Tamatoas can get this card back, and so even if you only have 1, you can use the shield 2, 3, 4 times to great effect against damage-based removal. And I think the big one most of the time that people are looking out for is Along Came Zeus.
It's always nice when, as a deck builder and as a player, you can look back to cards that have been printed a while ago, haven't seen a lot of play, and see that they get revitalized by something new, a new strategy, a new way of playing them. And this is a great example. I hadn't even seen this card, so to see a 1 of like this, or even a 2 of in a list, exactly like you're saying, Liam, that makes a lot of sense, and it's great to see this card come back to play.
It is so fun, and that's one of the best parts about when new sets are released. It is really fun seeing all the new cards. Everybody's looking at the new tools they get, but then the great players all players then can look back and find those hidden gems that are then unleashed by a new card. Speaking of new cards, this is the new card that everybody loves to love or loves to hate. They certainly love opening it in their packs of Arcasia's Island. It's Tamatoa, Happy as a Clam. This card's super impactful when it comes into play. We'll talk about that in a second, but when it comes into play, you get to return 2 items from your discard to your hand, and then you get to play an item for free when it quests. But here, the exact scenario I was talking about, where Happy as a Clam comes down, it's got that 5 willpower, and then immediately Along Came Zeus is played to remove that Tamatoa. Shield of Arendelle would have prevented that from happening, but just not enough ink to make that play there.
Logan saw the cards, but not enough ink to make it into reality.
Yeah, that is the exact scenario I think envisioned by Zan when he put Shield of Arendelle in his deck. So it's interesting to see it play out there.
I almost wonder if you hold off knowing that your opponent's on Steel playing along King Zeus for an extra turn to make sure that that does occur. You're able to play the Shield of Arendelle to protect the Tamatoa.
There's the Shield of Arendelle that comes down there alongside this Oswald. And another, is that another workshop up there? No. I missed what that was. It looks like a workshop, I think, which would have been triggered off the Oswald.
The artwork certainly matches up.
Yeah, it's just, you know, we see what you see. So everybody out there, so when they're cut off like that, just a little bit, it's a little bit hard, but nevertheless, it's gone now. We do have the Flavishman to play now, so a little bit of an engine here. The Oswald will be able to look at the top of your card of your deck every turn, grab you an item potentially, which can then immediately be eaten by the Flavisham. We're trying to get this engine going, but goodness gracious, here comes Elsa, the 5th Spirit. It's going to exert that Oswald, immediately challenge into it, remove that from the board. We don't want to get that going. And Asher here just scraping out 2-3 lore a turn, getting closer and closer to victory, not letting Logan establish those big threats that he wants to.
Even later on the board, if Asher doesn't have characters that he wants to challenge into, can use those bounce cards, that bounce package in Amethyst, to bounce this giant Cobra back and replay it to just discard and gain 2 lore.
So I think that's a 1-cost Fortisphere there. Draw another. We did have a couple of those in hand, so using that to draw a card. See another one here. Draw another card. Cycling through the deck here, looking for the answers. We do have a Bell. We'll discard one of those Fortispheres, banish that in order to play a Bell for free. It gets a little bit of board presence out there. Also a card that can sing some of your 3-cost removal options here. Another Fortisphere coming down, drawing another card. And we did draw into Let the Storm Rage on there. That's a card that Bell can sing next turn, or even Flavish on this turn. That's a perfect example here, though, of a card which would deal efficiently with the Cobra. But again, we do have frustratingly here for Logan, you know, those Elsas over there have quite a bit of willpower. You're going to quite a bit of damage-based removal required to get rid of them. We did draw another Tamatoa Happy as a Clam, not enough to play it here, a card that you'd love to get established next turn. And Asher with only 1 card in hand, I believe, that Tamatoa probably would stick around for a turn, but at this point, Logan's thinking about how best to remove some of these threats, I believe, because in any deck with Goat in it, or even Vanishing Cobra, is getting to the 15, 16, 17 lore area is very dangerous.
That's where that Let the Storm Rage on, or cards like that, maybe great targets to get rid of Cobra.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
And this is great to see here, really Asher doing his game strategy like he wants to, get a wide board state, cards that are going to require multiple targeted removal, get rid of them, like these Elsas. And here comes down a Pete on Logan's side, not wanting any actions to be played on Asher's side.
Yeah, Logan there. The Pete's going to prevent most of the damage base, or any of the damage base removal from being played. Of course, we can still drop an Elsa, exert something, challenge into it, but that damage base removal is not available. I do think that Pete here is probably, at this point, this is probably the most power, or strength rather, that Logan could have established on the board here. And there we're going to sing with Flavisham. Strength of Raging Fire, only dealing 3 damage here because of the number of characters, but of course that vanishing ability on the Cobra means that it has to be banished when it's picked for something, so even though 3 damage is dealt, it is sent to the discard pile anyway. Robin Hood, Champion of Sherwood here being played for 5, and such a good card, really impactful card here too. I mean, unfortunately it has for Logan, it has 2 lore, but then that's 6 willpower. Look at if your removal is damage based, you now have with a couple damage counters out there, that's 16 plus the rabbit, that's gosh, 19 willpower worth of damage you need to find a way to deal in order to fully clear this board. Of course, with the damage counters there, it's 16 or 17.
And these Elsa's having evasive.
Four over there, I'm sorry. So yeah, a little bit less, but still a lot of damage-based removal to deal with.
Just hard cards on Asher's side of the board to deal with. Can't challenge directly into those Elsas. Have to banish them using targeted removal.
Yeah, so Asher here, well, you've already quested, yeah. So I know it's tough. It's a tough scenario, but definitely some answers. Here comes that Tamatoa, happy as a clam, happy to, and Logan will be happy to pull back 2 items. We do have a popsicle here, and I missed what the other one was.
Tamatoa Happy Crab is such a great name because I think everyone's happy to see it except for an opponent. Happy to pull it, happy to play it.
Not happy to see your opponent with it. But again, having to spend all, or pretty much all of his resources here playing this card, if it can stick, definitely will have an impact. But Asher on his turn now with what's being represented, I'm sure we're going to see some removal. Okay, so we'll have a discussion here.
Goes the bigger Tamatoa.
So the discussion here. So if you watched, you know how I said I missed them pulling back, or him pulling back 2 items? I only saw the popsicle. That's because I believe he meant to play So Shiny, and he grabbed the one popsicle because of course it's 2 items versus 1 item. So Logan pointing out, hey, I exerted 8 ink. I played this card and I pulled back 1 item. I actually meant to play So Shiny instead of Happy as a Clam. It all checks out. It's a friendly event. Right. And so, yeah, I think Asher probably perfectly fine knowing that was Logan's intent. If we'd pulled 2 items instead of 1, it would have been different, but that's why we only saw the popsicle there. So that changes things a little bit. This is a card that gives you +1 lore for every item in play. But there's just not enough items right now to.
Not seen it yet.
Yeah, for Logan to close the game out without having to deal with the board over there. But it does represent 5 strength instead of 4 strength with the Happy as a Clam. So little better in terms of its ability to deal with threats. Let's see, 2 Strength of a Raging Fires, I believe, played there. Both targeting the Robin Hood. So Robin Hood will be sent to the discard pile. Now we have 3 lore left represented on the board. Find him and flatten him. Heading to the Inkwell. Nope. Being used. Back over to Logan.
Logan 16 now has gotten the shift in the balance of board state here, which Asher being at 16 is what you're going to have to do. You're going to have characters down, items down, and lucky dimes.
Yeah, but this is where it could turn. We have a lot of strength on the board now. I think enough to deal with everything with those damage counters there. As long as there's 2 on the else up top. I think I saw quite a bit there earlier. So if that's the case and we can clear the board. Now, Asher, of course, with Goat Bounce, things like that, definitely able to close this thing out. But not many cards in hand. So if Logan can, in fact, clear the board, and Asher doesn't have the Goat or can't establish something on the board for a turn or 2, like Logan could definitely turn the corner here. And as a fan of game 3s, kind of hoping that's the way it goes. But
I hope so too. I hope we get to see more Lorcana.
Absolutely, more Lorcana is better.
As much as we cheer on both of these players,
of course,
more Lorcana is great.
So here we have a singing along came Zeus. We'll deal with that Elsa there.
Yeah, leaving his Inkwell open, chooses to sing instead.
Elsa, of course, evasive. We're going to have some damage-based removal here.
Does he have a second Tamatoa? Oh, it looks like a lucky dime.
It's like the lucky dime will slam that down. That's okay. So we have 1 lore left on Asher's side of the board. Ooh, goodness gracious. This is kind of exciting. This is where could see a corner turned. Queen going into the Inkwell, it looks like. Just get a little bit of extra ink. I quickly glanced at the hand. There's definitely another lucky dime there. There is another strength there that's going to hit the Elsa.
Wow.
It's not. Yeah, I can't see that damage counter. It's not enough, but we're going to draw another card.
Did we draw another one?
We drew in. Did we draw into a strength? I let the Storm Rage on?
Wow.
Oh my good! If we drew into it, that's incredible.
I think that's exactly what happened. I did not see it beforehand.
Yeah, I wish I could see the hands a little bit more clearly. It is what it is with an overhead camera. So I'm not positive that he didn't have that there, but it looked to me like he drew into it. Asher here does have the Fox, clearly not the Goat, or we would have seen it, but establishing 2 characters on the board now that can quest up to 18 next turn. So we're going to need more damage-based removal, but this does give Logan another turn. And the lucky dime is somewhere there, maybe?
Maybe just off camera.
Maybe.
I think so.
I mean, don't think it was, yeah, Flavisham sang last turn, so we didn't need that. Cannot see it though, but we have 2 popsicles coming down. I'm going to draw another couple cards. It's going to pump up that Tamato. We drew into another lucky dime. I think we actually had another one in hand too. So plenty of dimes to go around. Counting out the ink here. We'd love, I mean, if you can establish 2 lucky dimes, it's 20 cents better than 10 cents.
I think you're right though, Liam, that this is kind of the turn, especially last turn, needed to turn a corner, and we're starting to see going around that curve. We're going to see if he can get back into this.
Well, this is an interesting spot here. So because normally in these decks, any Amethyst deck, you think 2 lore is definitely possible with the Goat bounce, and so you're always factoring that in. But in this set, 2 lore is possible with the Cobra and any card to discard. So if no threats are removed on Asher's side of the board, that gets him up to 18 lore, and then you either draw a Cobra or you have a Cobra in hand, and that's game. So you don't even need, even if you draw into a Goat, that wouldn't do it. And so Logan is looking over there, knowing that's possible. Asher could close this out if he has the Cobra in hand or with the right draw. So you'd love to be able to remove one of those threats if possible. But I don't know that we're going to. I just see so many dimes.
Oh my gosh.
So many dimes.
Counting up all those items. Yeah, he's trying to figure out how.
I'd love to do the math here. I can't see. That looks like game. I can't see all of the items there, unfortunately. So I couldn't get a 100% accurate count, but I saw at least 4. And that makes Tamato a quest for 5. There's 3 other lore on the board. Clearly Logan able to pull that out there. Wow. Wow. Yeah.
That was incredible.
Yeah. I wish. Yeah. Not. Yeah. Sorry. I need to watch closer as they're playing the items there. But yeah, that was gosh, it was a lot of fun, that game. So 1-1 now. Unless I'm mistaken, we're going to go to a game 3 while they shuffle up. That was incredible. The Amethyst Steel player, like pushing it, doing exactly what he wanted to do. But then, the Logan there able to turn the corner, got just enough removal to deal with those threats, those pesky evasive Elsas, at least one of them, and or both of them eventually, drawing into that card, that incredible top deck. And
yeah,
that was. What did you think of that game?
No, that match was amazing to watch. I mean, seeing all the card draw that Logan was able to do, all those items he's getting on board. We saw him turn that corner. That was fantastic. And I'm excited to see what we're going to do here in Game 3.
Yeah, no, me too. Yeah.
Well, we want to thank y'all for watching us here at Hunter Burton Memorial Lorcana Challenge. We're here live with 20 Lore Pro with the Illuminateers. Excited to be here today. And we just want to tell y'all about 988. It is the U.S. National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. If you or a loved one are experiencing a mental health crisis, reach out to 988. They're available 24/7, there for you to support you, professionals who want to listen and give you the support that you need, and reach out to those resources in your area that can help you. So let's head on back to match number 1. We'll see how we're doing with game 3. If we can get things to switch on over.
Yeah, I'm sure we will. I appreciate you mentioning that again. Like that's one of the things that makes this event special. I mean, competitive Lorcana events are always fun, no matter what venue you're at, whether it's your LGS or a big tournament. But when you get to play Lorcana and you get to raise awareness and raise money for a cause like this, a cause that affects everybody, it's just amazing. So I can't thank you enough for having us here and for doing this and supporting this awesome cause.
Well, we're glad to do it, and we're thankful that Hunter Burton invited us back for this tournament. because we love to play Lorcana, and we're going to be live tomorrow with more here at the Hunter Burton. We're going to be live with 20 Lore Pro and Char's Collectible Show next weekend for their 10K. It got bumped up from an 8K to a 10K next weekend in Stone Mountain, Georgia. Zan is here this weekend for Hunter Burton Memorial, and he will be in Georgia next weekend for Char's Collectible Show. And then the last weekend of the month, we're all going to Wisconsin. We're going to world-class games for their 10K weekend, 5K Saturday, 5K Sunday. So we're going to be seeing Zan quite a bit over the course of these weekends, but we're going to be seeing 20 Lore Pro. We'll be live with all of those tournaments.
Yeah, definitely. If you're not, I'm going to plug your thing here. If you're not subscribed or following this this Twitch feed, definitely do, because these guys are all over the place, bringing you all the best Lorcana. So it's definitely one of the places I like hanging out on weekends when I'm not playing. I know what I am playing. Okay, we're off to a fast start here. We have Robin Hood and Smee on turn 1 and 2 over there on Asher's side. One thing I will note, there was I think we kept 6 if I was seeing things correctly. So Asher finding exactly what he wanted, so probably close to his ideal start here in this matchup. We did not see an item or a bell on turn 1 and 2. That's something that Logan definitely wants to do to prevent this aggressive line. We did not see either of those. Instead, we're going to see the Tipo here on turn 2 to add an extra ink to the inkwell. So ramping resources, but not establishing that early bell, which I think Logan would have loved to do in this particular matchup. So Asher back over to him turn 3. We're going to shift that Robin Hood Champion of Sherwood, a card that that wasn't available the other game when the Robin Hood was removed. Champion of Sherwood and the Inkwell. Here it's coming into play. Champion of Sherwood, a really fantastic card. Not only are its abilities great, but it's very high statted on the willpower line. So damage-based removal, it takes quite a bit to get rid of it, and it usually sticks around and is able to quest for a little bit. And as a perk, if it's banished into a challenge, you get to draw a card. So just a great card. I think it's still pretty expensive, actually, coming out all the way back in into the Inkland set 3. Let's see what Logan has here. Logan playing a Scrooge McDuck. Scrooge McDuck, fun card. You can play it for one of the reasons it's in this deck. You can play it for free if you have 4 items in play. That's oftentimes what you want to do. Clearly, no items in play, I believe, unless there's one hiding off the camera there that I missed. So not able to play it for free, but it does allow you to search the top 4 cards of your deck and find an item. So there is that, and I believe that's how we found that popsicle there. But importantly, in this particular scenario, it has 4 strength, so it's going to be able to deal with that Smee, and at least prevent some of this runaway lore gain. But I think that's really the benefit here, is getting those stats on the board.
I'm back. Just want to make sure that the overlay, everything was working smoothly here with 20 Lore Pro. We're glad that y'all are here watching at the Hunter Burton Memorial as we're here for the Lorcana Championship. Glad to be here. The other mat on Asher's side of the board, if you look, has the other enchanted sponsors for today's tournament. We have Mothership Books and Games in Austin, the Card Haven here in Dallas, Texas, and Pixelborn. Big sponsors for today's tournament. So thankful for them.
Asher now thinking what to do. We're going to ink a goat here. And play a goat. Okay, I was about to comment on this is not usually the time you like to play goats. You like to play them later. They are ink fodder in the early game. But goat for goat here, getting that established. We're just racing ahead. That goat, of course, represents an 11th lore when it's banished. So back over to Logan. And yeah, Asher just wants to close this game out as fast as possible. And Logan, without the early cards that he really wanted to prevent this runaway lore gain, the big one is the Bell. The Bell, one of the reasons that this Sapphire Steel deck became so good and kind of the bogeyman in this meta is it got some really powerful mid and end game tools, but then it also got Bell. Because the way you counter this deck, generally these control decks, is to run away from them in the early game. And giving this deck a 3/3 on turn 1 that could then sing a variety of different songs like Strength of a Raging Fire, Let the Storm Rage On, as well as challenging into things is so good. So, we're seeing the impact here of not having that that early game board presence against a deck that wants to be aggressive. But I will say, even though Asher's managed to accumulate 10 lore already, Logan, with an Along Came Zeus there, being sung by this, or being sung and then challenging into it with, or challenging with the Scrooge McDuck, that high static character there, able to deal with those big threats. So now we're in a lot more comfortable place. The goat getting to sing friends from the other side, draw 2 cards. You know, we may see Logan turn a corner here, but still, I mean, 4 cards in Asher's hand, that's plenty to reestablish the board. Logan is going to have to keep playing defense to prevent Asher from scraping closer and closer to goat or cobra range.
It can be kind of scary too, because in some of these Amethyst Steel lists, we had seen them playing Doc. So when they're playing those lower cost characters like Diablo, the 1-drop Robin Hood, they're able to just play Doc, dump their hand or whatever they have, or draw 2 cards, and then they're able to play 2 more characters out. So even if he's not playing Doc, he still has low to the ground characters that don't cost a lot of ink, so he could play multiples.
We do see the bell there challenging into the goat. That'll be another lore for Asher, and Asher did play the cobra on his turn and discarded a Calhoun to get the extra 2 lore off the cobra, so pushing him up to 13. So that cobra representing a 14th if it can't, if it sticks around.
I love the memes early on Facebook and Twitter about this bell. You talking about Amber Steel song? I'm talking about Sapphire Steel song.
Yeah, it's. I could talk for a while about the analogies between Steel Song and this Sapphire Steel deck, because they're very similar in a few ways, even though they're trying to do slightly different things. And I'd love to do that. Maybe I'll wax poetical about that at the end of this match, but. Right now, Logan, you know, I think a lot more comfortable now. 13 lore is a lot over there. Here we have Happy as a Clam coming down. That 6-cost, incredibly expensive legendary right now. It is so good, allowing Logan to pull back 2 items from a discard pile. And if it sticks around, it'll enable him to cheat out a Lucky Dime or some other item for free. I always mention the Lucky Dime, because anytime you can play a 7-cost item for free, it's just gross.
It's amazing.
Right. But we'll see. Oh, it's another giant cobra. We're going to discard the snake. That's another 2 lore. Oof. It is getting dangerous now. 16 lore. We're going to have to answer that cobra.
Only 1 card in hand, though. Talk about a resource drain when you have to discard to gain that 2 lore.
Yeah, so Logan now, the key is card draw. Getting that popsicle was nice. Logan is going to want to find a way to start drawing into cards, because he's going to have to consistently find damage-based removal to have things, to prevent things from sticking to the board and questing next turn. So Tamatoa here questing. Playing there, I'm not sure what that is. I think I saw Maurice's Workshop in hand. I'm not positive that that's what that was, though. Let's see. We're going to play the popsicle, draw a card. We're going to pay 1. It is a workshop, because we're going to pay 1. We're going to draw an extra card, so that's 2 cards. I saw the Flavisham get drawn there, so we have the 4 ink. We could play that and draw another 2 cards.
Man,
but
there's a Queen, a Force Sphere, yeah.
But the problem there is, well, no, we do have the Scrooge McDuck able to sing. So perhaps the play here, draw some more cards, try to draw into any targeted removal. Will force that vanishing card, that illusion, to be vanished. So Logan probably figuring out, how can I draw, you know, the maximum number of cards here, try to draw into one of those, and then allow the Scrooge to sing it rather than having to challenge into Cobra. Fortisphere will draw a card. We'll draw another card with the with a workshop.
Exactly.
So good. We did get another popsicle, so we can draw another 2 cards.
Oh my goodness! Talk about your item count here is going through the roof.
Right. Oh, this is so fun. I mean, Maurice's Workshop, another fantastic card in this deck. You're seeing its full potential here. Flavisham going into the Inkwell.
I was already drawn so much, does not need it.
No, that Maurice's Workshop is essentially, I mean,
that's your draw engine now.
Yeah, it's doing the work of Flavisham there. Because with that ink available, if you draw into more low-cost items, you can continue this cycle. But you really, really want to prevent your opponent from going to 18 here. So we're going to see another 2 cards off the Popsicle in the Workshop. I think that was the Shield of Arendelle I saw at the last second there. There it is, Shield of Arendelle. Lot of items. I cannot see how many. I should have been counting. There's at least 5, I believe. We are going to challenge in there. We did, it looks like we used popsicles, fortispheres, a collection of items here to protect Scrooge there from being banished. So items used to great effect there, stacked up, a combination of healing and then protection to keep Scrooge alive. So we did gain the 1 lore up to 17, bounce the Cobra with the Fox. Now that Cobra is back in hand. That Cobra represents 2 lore when it's played, and so that Fox needs to be removed or that is game.
Another character and a strength. Along came Zeus. Just trying to think of cards that Logan could have that could remove this Fox.
Let's see what we're going to do here. We have another war. Yeah, there's plenty we could draw into. We just need to, do the calculations here. Logan's trying to figure out how can I draw the maximum number of cards. Another workshop will help. And now that's played, so he's drawing a card off the other workshop. He did draw into a lucky dime. Would have liked to have that earlier. But we do have another item. It's not one of our cheaper items, but it is a fishbone quill, so we can draw another 2 cards off of that.
Each item at least representing another chance to get rid of this Fox.
And thinking this through here, there's just a lot of expensive stuff. The Queen's going to do you not a ton of good here. You have 2 Tamatoas, which are not going to do you much good. You've got to draw into damage-based removal. Tamatoa going into the Inkwell. Is there 3? I'm guessing we're going to see that Quill coming into play. We'll probably pay 1, draw a card. We'll take a look. I think that was a Flavisham. I got a brief glimpse of it, which is not helpful. Yep, it was a Flavisham. Going to use the Fishbone Quill, ink a Queen. Now we're going to play the Flavisham here. Eat the Fortisphere to draw 2 cards. We need some damage-based removal. We did draw into a Strength. I think that was a Strength. If that was, that's what we needed. And if it was, big sigh of relief there for Logan, who might be able to stretch this another turn. There it is, Strength of Raging Fire, the exact amount you need with 3 characters on the board to remove that Fox. So that was it. That was the second card that he drew. Ooh, and with that Cobra in hand, we know on the other side that's exactly what he needed to close this out. And now, we have a lot of tools on the board allowing you to draw cards. Yes, Asher can go up to 19.
It is 17 Asher side to Logan's 5. Overlay had a little bit of a mix-up there.
Okay, so definitely 17. So Logan doing the math here. He knows the Cobra is there. Cobra costs 3, so I think there's 4 ink there, so there's not enough to do much else besides play that Cobra. Maybe you can establish the Cobra and one other thing, forcing Logan to have 2 answers. That'd probably be Asher's best case scenario. Man, drawing to that strength, it was huge. The last card that he drew is exactly what he needed to remove it with the exact number of characters. So here we go. Playing the Cobra, discarding, and along came Zeus to go to 19 lore and back over to Logan. Now, there's plenty of tools on the board. We've got to answer the Cobra. And ideally, you'd love to win the game on this turn, but I don't know that there is a way. You can cheat the dime into play. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4.
Maurice's Workshop to draw.
Because you'd have to get that other Tamatoa and then be able to activate the dime, and I don't know that you have quite enough. So we are going to quest. We're going to cheat that dime into play. It's going to be played for free. I think, or no, we're playing it. What are we doing here? Are we playing the Tamatoa? Let's see what we got. It is the Tamatoa. Okay, so we're going to pull back an item, and I don't think, I gotta be better at keeping track of this. I don't think we've inked yet, and if we have not, then that's 2. They can activate the dime. So 7, 8, 9. So there's the ink. So we have enough to use the dime. I can't see the total number of items. I think that's at least. So we are going to use the Fishbone Quill to ink another. We now have 3 ink available. I know we pulled back 4 at one point. Yeah, this math is tough in this deck. I think that might be. I think the calculator might be coming out there or something. So 2, at least 2, so it's 3, so we 7. I don't know that there's enough.
Is this going to be the one lore difference here?
Let's see. Now the Flapsham is there, so if we need to search for removal, we can eat something. We can play Popsicle. That's another card, another lure for Tamatoa. And folks, I wish I could see clearly the number of items in play. I was not keeping track. I think that's at least 3. Okay, Flavish, I'm gonna eat that Popsicle. Draw 2. If it's not a win, we need removal. Did not get it.
He's got 4 items
Oh,
in
we
play.
did not get it. Oh, so that was it. We were looking on. We're looking for more removal. He's seeing how deep down it was. Golly.
gosh.
Okay, so that's what it was. It was, we didn't quite have enough to close it out. And Logan was looking for something, anything, another damage-based removal card to get rid of that Cobra, digging and just coming up short. That was, gosh. I mean, Logan, with the amount of ink and the tools that he had in play, was, 1 or 2 turns away from closing that out with the dime. So close. And in fact, I think, had Asher been behind 1 or 2 more lore, I think Logan comes away with that, honestly.
I think so too, because even having that second Cobra, because there was a point on Asher's side of the board, he had 2 big Cobras that he did choose to discard to them when they came into play. That was at 4 additional lore. Had 1 back in hand. That is, that's a lot of lore free gained that Logan really couldn't answer to. At the end there, if he would have drawn more removal like you're saying, Liam, that could have been a totally different match.
Yeah, so close. So close. That was totally fun. Yeah, so I highlight, once again, these are both fantastic decks, both fantastic players. The Amethyst Steel deck, I think, had its ideal opening for this matchup. If I remember correctly, he mulliganed 1 card, indicating that he had exactly what he wanted to open the match. On the other side there, unfortunately for Logan, he didn't, he wants that bell. He needs that bell in the early game, because not only is it a big body for the early game, but it also can sing your 3-cost songs to remove stuff. Didn't have it that game, but still managed to almost turn the corner there. I do, you mind if I went really quickly before we go on the Cobras? A lot of times we think of these reach cards like Cobra and Goat as like end game finishers, but the Amethyst Steel player using them there to great effect throughout the game to get 2 lore every single time they came into play to enable that aggro strategy. One of the reasons that I think Friends from the Other Side has worked its way back into favor, it's always been a fairly popular card since set 1, but we did see it disappear from a few lists, particularly in Emerald Amethyst, like Mo Shamlin, for example, in North American Challenge or Championship, didn't run them. Because there was other things that he wanted to do on curve, and it just didn't fit the deck style. But with the Cobra, you're starting to see cards like that come back in because you need that card advantage that you're discarding every single time. So, it just really well played by the Amethyst Steel player. Fantastic game, and that is exactly the game plan that you need against these item builds that are all the rage right now. But even so, that deck almost ran. I could talk about this all day. I'm sorry. I just love Lorcana.
No, you're making an excellent point, because in this Amethyst Steel build, we've seen it last set. It was a very challenge to the board type of deck. It had the Calhouns, you're using the Mr. Smees to quest for 2. But in this set with the Big Cobra, we have another way to get free lore. So not only were we able to bounce Goats, gain a lore enters, gain a lore when it leaves, now we have the Big Cobra with Calhoun, more cards to give us free lore. It's just that much more viability to that type of a deck that wants to have lore that they gain without their opponent stopping them from doing their strategy. So really great to see an Amethyst Steel list here doing that. And Logan is an amazing player. He's with world-class cards. Great player. We've seen him at the Continental Championships. He's going to Worlds. He's a phenomenal player. He knows the lines. He knows the play. But Amethyst Steel, Asher did an amazing job piloting around it. He did a wonderful job playing against Logan, and this is a tournament where we're seeing high-level players to brand new players here at the Hunter Burton Memorial, and so to see someone like Asher, first time on camera, first time playing, did such a great job against Logan. I mean, congratulations to both players, but Asher did an amazing job.
What a great game. I'm gonna go back and watch that later.
Well, we want to thank y'all so much for joining us here today at the Hunter Burton Memorial Lorcana Championship. We're here with 20 Lore Pro and the Illumineers, and we're excited to be sharing with y'all all of the exciting tournament gameplay here in today's tournament. This was the final round for today's tournament. We will have some interviews for y'all tomorrow, along with more gameplay. We have 2 more rounds of Swiss. We have a top 8 to go through. Very excited for those gameplays, for those tournaments to continue. 20 Lore Pro, we will be heading towards Charlie's Collectible Show next weekend for their 10K tournament. It used to be an 8K, now it's a 10K. Very excited to see that. And then the last weekend of the month, we're heading to World Class Cards in Wisconsin. Very excited to be there for their 10K Lorcana weekend, a 5K on Saturday, a 5K on Sunday. It'll be a wonderful time. A lot of great Lorcana for Set 7 coming up. Really going to see how the meta develops, especially over the course of this month. Thank you all again for joining us. If you or a loved one are experiencing a suicidal ideation or mental health crisis, head on over to 988 where there is help available 24/7. Thank you all again for watching, and we will see y'all tomorrow morning.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Lorcana Championship at the Hunter Burton Memorial here in gorgeous Hurst, Texas. It's such a stunning day outside. I am joined today by the Director of Charity Operations for Hunter Burton Memorial, Erin. It's so nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you too. Thank you for having me.
I know, we found out it was name coincidence,
Yes.
Spelled the same way. We absolutely love it.
Can't mess it up. Gonna make post-production easy here.
So Erin, can you talk to me a little bit about why we're here today?
Sure, absolutely. So our charity is specifically about gaming to prevent suicide. What we're looking to do is to teach awareness and prevention measures, not only to the people that are attending our event, but also to let them take knowledge base home to their local gaming communities and kind of teach this to others as well. We want to teach that kindness, inclusion, and community can save lives.
I think that is so beautiful, and you can feel that here today. I know I'm here with my 18-month-old in the middle of all of these card players, and everybody is so warm and welcoming. You can feel that spirit of inclusion at this event.
Good. I love to hear that. Our goal with this event is to be unique. You know, you can go anywhere in the world and play in big card tournaments. Doesn't matter what game, but for us, we want people to walk in and feel a different vibe with this event. We want the kindness, inclusion, and community that we talk about to be represented in this big competitive event, right? We have Magic the Gathering, and we have all kinds of other tournaments, Pokemon, these other games represented, and we're giving out big cash prizes for a lot of these tournaments, and cool cards and promos and all kinds of things. But when you walk in and see this competitive atmosphere, the difference is we teach that you can still be kind and be competitive. And it changes the atmosphere to one where there's just this general respect that maybe you don't always see at a lot of other tournaments. And it's one of the reasons I love having Lorcana as part of this, because it's a very diverse crowd. It's family oriented. And you know, for us, we make sure that it has a very dedicated space so that families feel comfortable coming in, that everybody can come in and actually play a really fun game and bring in, you know, kids of any age. That's really important to us because it's the piece of the environment that we want to create.
Well, that's amazing, and I speak from experience that is exactly the environment that you have created here today. Can we take a minute to talk about why we're here? Let's talk a little bit about Hunter and kind of his legacy. You knew him personally. Can you talk about who Hunter was as a person and kind of why this event encapsulates his spirit?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, originally Hunter was a customer at my store, and that's how I met Hunter. And he played on our professional Magic team, so we sponsored him to travel and play competitive Magic. He played Pro Tour Magic, so he was a high-level competitive player. And unfortunately, he took his own life. And when he took his own life, after a grieving period, the Burton family basically said, you know, we want to remember our son. So the first Hunter Burton Memorial Open was really just held with 150 people to be a big Magic tournament to remember Hunter Burton, right? That's how we started out 11 years ago. And the meaning of Magic to him was the times that he was doing the best in life, that he was not dealing with as many mental health struggles, was when he was really engaged in the Magic community and playing card games. So for us, we want to remember those good times. We also want to use that tool to hopefully help others that might be struggling and give them that community, and hopefully they don't lose as much touch as maybe Hunter did. But we also look back, Hunter was a really interesting kind of eccentric person, right? We do a lot of things with watches. The Community Impact Kit that we give out when we do a Community Impact Award, we award a watch. It's because Hunter was a watch collector, right? We do what we call them prize chips, but they very much represent like a poker chip that you might see, and that's because Hunter loved playing poker. That was his favorite game besides Magic. He tried to play competitively, played in the World Series of Poker. So for us, like these little things we do are kind of in memory of Hunter, so that even though we've outgrown that, and now we're potentially going to have 2,000 people come through Turnstile over the weekend. No matter what we're doing, Hunter is represented in all these little pieces of the event.
I love that so much. And there are so many people I run into at this event that knew Hunter personally. Our tournament organizer here at the Lorcana Championship knew him personally. And so you really can, I didn't know Hunter, but I do feel like his spirit is, here at this event. And it seems like something that he would really be proud that his legacy was able to give back to the TCG community as a whole.
Yeah.
Erin, can you talk about those people who are sitting at home watching us on stream? How can they help with this effort?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first, I employ everybody to go into your local stores, wherever you choose to play Lorcana or any of the other games, and just remember that kindness and inclusion absolutely can make a huge impact in people's lives. When I'm thinking about what we do and how we operate as a charity foundation, first thing is we are 100% volunteer driven. We're a nonprofit that has 0 paid employees. Nobody gets a paycheck. Every dollar we earn from our fundraising at this event and other options goes right back into our community impact efforts. The community impact kits we ship out to stores to provide mental health resources, teach community leaders how they can help their players. Also, what we do at this event, everything with this event, it all goes back into that. There's no paid employees. We have over 60 volunteers here this weekend to make this 3-day event happen. It's a big operation, right? So when we think about what others can do to help us with that, one, we're always looking for volunteers. That would be great if anybody wants to come in next year. We're going to absolutely need help next year. 2, you can definitely donate on our website. So if you'd like to make a financial contribution, if that's easier, you can always donate to us financially. Every $25 we raise actually is another community impact kit we can ship out to stores, which we do not charge for. They are free of charge. The other thing you can do, kind of lastly, is if you think your store, if you play at a local game store and you'd like them to have a community impact kit, you can do the contact us on our webpage. Let us know the store, the manager name, and an address for it, and we will ship them a community impact kit free of charge so they have mental health resources for their store owner and their community.
That's so amazing. Well, I hope everybody takes an opportunity to get involved in this amazing cause. We hope we can see everybody watching on camera at the event next year, at next year's Lorcana Championship. I know that something that is so beautiful about our community here in the Lorcana space is we are so interested in including everyone and caring about everyone. I think that this aligns so well with the Hunter Burton Memorial, and we're so grateful that you have been open and welcoming to the Lorcana community in your event. Thank you so much for this opportunity to be here and be a part of this great work.
Oh, thank you so much for being here. We really love what Lorcana brings to our event. We love seeing families participate. We love seeing the younger generation start getting into card games and making sure that they learn early on what resources are available to them, but more importantly, teaching them the way that they can make such a positive impact. So thank you so much for being a part of this, and thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Well, we'll see you again shortly for the next feature match.